Hey friends, it's time for the November plan with me, and our folk art theme for this month is the mystical bird. Join me as we create an intricate yet simple cover page and lots more. Hello, my friends, and welcome back. My name is Shayda Campbell, and on this channel, we get creative together. It's already time for the November plan with me, which is kind of scary because I feel like I just did the January setup, the yearly setup last December. Our 2023 theme has been folklore, and for October, we did the folklore of All Hallows Eve and mystical, spooky good stuff, still with lots of flowers, of course. Speaking of flowers, this is my weekly layout from last week. If you follow me over on Instagram, you can see a lot of these weekly layouts coming together at Shayda Campbell. This one is for next week, but I actually will have that posted as a reel by the time you see this. So be sure to follow me on Instagram at Shayda Campbell. And just another reminder while we're at it, you can get this month's folk art bird themed cover page over on my Patreon. It's a great way to support the channel. It's only $3 a month or $33 for the entire year. This week, the bonus content is not just the cover page, but all of the spreads that you see in today's video. And I got some more good news for you. We're just getting all the good news out of the way before we jump in. If you are not into subscriptions, that's fine. I now have a Patreon storefront, so you can just go purchase the bundle of planner printables that I'm putting out this week. You don't have to sign up for the month or the year. Head over there and check out my storefront and get not only the November cover page, but all of the layouts that you're going to see today. All right, but maybe you don't want to print out my spreads. Maybe you want to do it yourself. I love that. And I'm going to show you how to create this really pretty bird-themed cover page. And drawing a bird is not as hard as you might think. I started with a little curved line, and then I kind of did this cylinder around it. Give it a little fishtail, a little beak, and then draw another sort of cylinder shape through the center. And you see how I kind of form it into the wings. I just work it out in pencil, give her little fishtail, some wing-like shapes at the back there, and just sketch until you're happy with the shape. Keep it small in the center of the page. Don't go too big for this bird. It should be petite. And once you're happy, erase, and then just go over it very lightly. It's always nice to get rid of all those sketchy lines and really see what you've created. And there, you're pretty much done the cover page at this point. I'm kidding, but I'm sort of not kidding, because even though this month's cover page looks so intricate and so pretty and detailed, once you've sketched out that bird in pencil, the rest is just simple leaves. Like truly just little leaves. I did some big upside down heart-shaped leaves at the bottom, did a little acorn in her beak, and then from there, I'm just going to keep everything really small. So really tiny leaf and floral shapes, the stuff that we do over and over again on this channel. And that's why I've really loved this year's folklore and folk art theme, is because we use just these really simple but beautiful floral shapes like the ones I'm doing now, just like curving lines with little leaves. The leaves can be ovals, they can be circles, they can be long and large, they can be super tiny and rounded. And all you have to do is go around and do all these little floral shapes, basically to frame your bird that's in the center. And as I said, I did the large upside down heart-shaped leaves at the bottom. But other than the acorn and the large leaves and the bird, everything is just really tiny and really manageable. And the nice thing about this spread is that you, unlike me, you don't have to sit down and do it all in one go. What I love about journaling is it's just a way to take time for yourself at the end of every day or the start of every day and get some me time that is screen-free, and maybe just listen to a podcast or listen to some music or listen to moi and just enjoy drawing. And what I really enjoy drawing is tiny little leaves and flowers, because I don't worry about screwing them up. They're almost impossible to screw up. Even if you draw a weird one, no one's going to notice, and you just have fun with it and lose yourself in the process of the illustration. And as I was saying before I completely got off track, you don't have to do this all in one go. You can sit down for half an hour and just doodle, and then the next day come back to it. It's your monthly bujo, so you don't have to have the monthly cover page done at the start of the month. You can work on it all month, and this journal is something that you'll have to look back back on and enjoy through the years. Whether your Bujo is a diary or a date book or a memory keeper, or it's just really artful, I think it's a wonderful little piece of you that you'll have, and it's fun to look back at our old journals. Anyway, what am I talking about? As I began this piece, the very first thing that I did that I didn't mention was I just did a little border in pencil, and then that becomes important at this point when you're filling in. So I filled in the entire rectangle that I laid out. Now I'm actually going to erase that pencil border, and I have this really graphic black and white design. I've colored in the large leaves and some of the larger flowers and the bird, of course, with a black brush pen. And I used the Faber-Castell for that because they are not water-based like Tombows. They're actually India ink. And that means when you go and start to do these designs with a white gel pen, the white doesn't blend and bleed with the black. If I had done this with a Tombow, I always, my white gel pen will start to look a little gray. I don't know if that happens to you, but it happens to me. So that's why I really love the Faber-Castell black Pitt pen for designs like this. This would also be really pretty in blue or burgundy. And you can get those Faber-Castell Pitt pens on Amazon. They are linked in the video description below. And that's another great way to support the channel, is to shop those links, and you can find exactly what I am using so you can use the same stuff too. So at this point, what I'm doing is using the white gel pen to take this folk art design up another notch. So it already looked really pretty just as a silhouette. Now we're really adding to it and creating even more of that graphic black and white look. And I'm doing that by filling the bird in with those same tiny flower and leaf designs. I've also used a few like dots and lines to create a bit of a pattern on the bird's wings and tail where there would be feathers. And I've just had fun doing these tiny, petite, really doodle-like illustrations. This one looks so intricate and detailed. When you're finished, your friends are going to be like, whoa, you drew that? But actually, it's not difficult to do these tiny little floral doodles. And if you're still like, no, Shayda, I don't know if I can do that, I've got good news. I finally released a floral illustration e-course for beginners. It's something I've wanted to do for years. I'm so proud of it. You can head over to my website, ShaydaCampbellCourses.com, to check it out. And because I love you, use code NovemberPlan with me, all one word, to get 15% off. With our bird folk art illustration done, I just want to write the November month title in the bottom there, and I just did a simple print. And that is that. I know you're going to enjoy doing this floral folk art bird themed illustration, but if you're like, go get that illustration e-course. If you're like, no, go get those planner printables over on Patreon. It's only $3 a month or $33 for the year, and you get weekly bonus content, or get the planner bundle for November in my Patreon storefront. So the next spread we're going to work on together is a simple monthly calendar. I always work the grid out in pencil first. I'm just doing 3x4 grid squares for these calendar boxes, and then I go over it with my fine liner, and I simply pull the pen toward my body so that I keep it fairly steady, and then I don't have to like fart around with rulers. I say this every month. I'm allergic to rulers. Just don't like working with them. I'm going to fill in the top of the calendar all black to kind of continue with that graphic black and white folk art stuff. And then here is what we're going to do for the illustration. And remember, you don't have to sit down and do this all at once. I'm going to do another bird. So start with that sort of cylinder shape, the little fin at the back, the little triangle, another cylinder through the middle, and then you just start working out the shapes. Give your bird that little feathery tail and wing and a little beak. You don't have to get it perfect. I think that's what I really gravitate towards with folk art, is that everything is sort of so funny, and in folk art, things are really simplified and made into their very basic shape. So if you just look up folk art birds on Pinterest, you'll see some really basic birds, but they're really beautiful in their simplicity. And I think the simple silhouette lends itself so beautifully to all those wonderful floral illustrations that we're going to add to it. I also did this flower that kind of droops up and over the calendar. I did a bell-shaped flower with 3 leaves, and then I colored everything in with that black Pitt pen from Faber-Castell. I also wrote the November title in pencil, and then I just went around my pencil capital letters with my fine liner. Got kind of a cute lettering there. And then, of course, you already know what's coming up next. I grab my white gel pen, and this is my absolute favorite gel pen ever, and that is also linked in the video description. I've had so many gel pens come through my studio that do not work, so this one is actually one that will not fail you. At least for me, that's what I've found. And I'm using my gel pen and just doing flowers and leaves, baby. Maybe a few little heart shapes, maybe a few little dots, maybe lines, keeping everything really simple. And as I was saying, with these really simplified silhouettes of the bird and the flower, they lend themselves so beautifully to putting all these other more intricate details. And of course, we know that the intricate details are really just simple, simple, simple. And you'll really see how simple I can be as I begin to fill these leaves in. I use like ovals and then dots and then hearts. So if you can doodle, you can do this folk art. And there is our calendar spread. It looks so good. And I actually, by this point, was getting like a little tired of drawing flowers and leaves. But that's what I'm saying. You don't have to do this all at once. And actually, the next spread that we're going to do is something that's coming along just in time for the holiday season. And it is a gift tracker. And it's going to give us a little break from flowers and leaves because we're going to draw a whole bunch of presents. This is a great way to kind of keep track of all the gifts you need to give, all the gifts you've already purchased or created, and have you wrap them, all of that, good holiday sort of stuff. So what I've done is I've sketched in pencil a big, almost Christmas tree-like shape, a big mountain of gifts, and they're really just squares and rectangles, and they all have like a little lid on top just to give basic rectangles the look that they are actually a parcel. And just sketch it out, make them large enough that you can write words, write a name and a gift in each one. So don't get too tiny with them. If you need to do like one or two tiny ones to fill in space or a gap, that is fine. I think that adds to the look of the overall spread, but keep most of them large enough that you can write the person's name and the gift that you're getting them. And then for some of the outer ones, you can put like a little lumpy bow and then a star or heart at the top, just finishes off the tree shape really nicely. Next up, we're going to add a bird, of course, and this is the easiest bird you can illustrate. It's basically a U shape. Give it a little bit of a broken feathery tail, draw in the wing, triangle beak, 2 stick legs. It's that simple. Above the bird, I'm going to write holiday gift tracker. I just did a simple cursive for holiday, and then for gift tracker, I am doing a print, and I just go around the letter twice, and it just kind of thickens everything up, and it looks more substantial than if I just printed it. And then here's how the tracker actually works. Each gift represents one person. I'm going to write the person's name. In this case, it's my nephew, Nils. And I am going to put a little box, and then beside the box, you write the gift. So I am knitting him a sweater. So I wrote sweater. And then when I finish knitting it, any day now, hopefully, it's barely started, I will put an X there. And then when I actually wrap it, you could color in. That's optional, but you could actually color in the gift, and then that gift is not only purchased, it is also wrapped and it's ready to go. So you can fill in the entire tracker that way, and it's just a nice way in November to start thinking about the gift giving season. What are you making? What are you giving? I try to make a lot of gifts. Not everybody has time for that. They're not all masterpieces, but I do love a homemade gift or even a thrifted gift to cut down on just the constant need to purchase at this time of year. If you are also into that, comment below. What kinds of gifts do you like to make, or what kinds of things do you like to thrift? I'm not above thrifting a sweater and then doing a little embroidery on it or something like that. It doesn't have to be a large embroidery project, just like something small to make a kid's day, oh my gosh, that's my name on my shirt or whatever. I'm doing the same sort of folk art stuff here where I'm just coloring the large things in black, the heart, the bird, the ribbons, and then coming in with my white gel pen and adding lots of flowers and leaves and hearts and dots. And that is the gift tracker complete. Reminder, you can actually print my gift tracker so you don't have to design your own, and that's available on Patreon if you sign up monthly, or you can just go to the Patreon storefront, which is brand new, and just purchase the November planner bundle. Okay, friends, we have come to the last spread, which is our weekly layout, and I'm keeping mine the same one that I used for October, just because I really liked it and I was having fun doing my designs. Again, if you want to see some of the weekly layouts that weren't included in my setup, because you can't do all 4 at once, you can check them out on Instagram. I shoot some reels, and that's at Shayda Campbell over on Instagram and TikTok too. Anyways, it's this little grid. You do a grid of 6, and then you just knock out that bottom right square, put your calendar there, and then over on the left-hand side, you have room for a notes area, or you can just leave it blank. I did that some weeks where I was busy, or you can do an illustration. And in this case, I'm going to do both. I'm going to do a notes area down here at the base, and then do a little circular illustration up above. And guess what? It's a bird. So right in the middle of the circle, I'm going to do that sort of cylinder-shaped bird, and I'm just working it out in pencil, do the messy little wings, give it a little beak. You can really, if you just have wings and a beak, you could do anything for this bird, okay? You can make it so funny and whimsical, and that's what I love about folk art. You can make it your own and be very free with these shapes. If it's got a beak and wings, people are gonna know it's a bird. And then, as we did with the cover page, we're going to fill in the circle. So you've given yourself a border, a perimeter, and now you go with your fine liner and you do all these little leaves and flowers and hearts and dots and all that good stuff, and you just fill in, and then afterwards you can erase the pencil circle, the border. To complete this spread, we're going to reach for those Faber-Castell Pitt pens again, and remember, our supplies are linked in the video description. I colored in the bird with the black, and then I'm using my warm gray Faber-Castell Pitt pen to write notes down here in a really simple cursive. And a great way to finish that is to take your fine liner. My fine liners are also a favorite pen, and those are linked as well. And I'm going to give notes a little shadow, and it just brings it to life. At this point, of course, you can take the white gel pen and add some more florals to the bird. I think I'm gonna hold back here and just give her a little eye, because I like how the simple black also looks with all those delicate florals. And maybe I'm just tired of drawing flowers. I don't know. No, I'm never tired of drawing flowers. That's our setup. Beautiful folk art bird-themed cover page. We have our bird-themed calendar spread, our bird-themed holiday gift tracker, and finally the weekly layout with an illustration and an area for your notes. Remember, I know I've already mentioned, you can get all of these planner printables to download and print and put in your own bujo. They are available on Patreon. Sign up. It's only $3 a month or $33 for the year to get all of this bonus content weekly, or just shop the Patreon storefront, which is new, and get the planner printables as a bundle for $4. Thank you guys so much for watching today. This was a really fun one for me, and I can't believe next month will be the last spread of the year. Shortly after that, you'll be looking for my 2024 setup, so be sure to subscribe so you don't miss all the new weekly content here on YouTube.